So organized here. Hello, and welcome to MoviePod, a Reclaimed Cinema podcast. This week we are weeping out. MoviePod is an anime podcast this episode. Today we'll be discussing a hand-drawn film that was expected to be a hit but bombed at the box office. Once it got a home release, people really started to gravitate towards it, and it's considered to be one of the, a very accessible anime movie for Western audiences. Today we're talking about the 2009 anime film Redline. I am joined this week by MLYP. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm enjoying my Southern Hemisphere privileges for once, which is great. So I live in a world where like American defaultism is against me. So any chance I get, I will take the opportunity to be like, haha, it's actually this. And unfortunately, that's just what it is at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I'm Canadian, so I understand the complete American defaultism too being worked up against us from the colonies. So, Redline was a movie that I was asking to figure out a movie to bring you on for, so asked you about what kind of cult movies you'd be interested in, and you brought up Redline to me. What was your experience with Redline as a movie? Like, how did you first discover or get into it?
So every summer, a group of friends, we sit down and have like a day where we watch 3 or 4 movies. And this was one of the ones that got brought up. So we tend to alternate. Like it was every summer. We try and do it more often now. And this was one of the movies where it was a year we're going, let's do some good movies this time, because we're sick of doing things like a cam rip of Cats where Judi Dench still has her human arms, for example. So we're like, let's not do that one. And so I was watching with some very close friends, and for me, it's been one of those movies that's really it was recommended to me as, check this out, the animation's really, really sick. And I'm a big motorsport guy. I'm a big like mecha anime kind of guy. And so this was shown to me and I was like, oh hell yeah, this is fucking sick as hell. And it's been in my head as going, whenever someone's gone, hey, I'm looking for something to watch, I'm like, have you watched this? Because this is actually pretty sick.
This movie is
been like
sick.
That ever since. Yeah.
It's a great way to describe it. Yeah, like I got into anime pretty late, so I wasn't really into anime when this movie first came out. I kept seeing the trailer for this nonstop on one of the early Blu-rays I got. So I think it might have been Kill Bill or something. Or some Blu-ray I was watching all the time. Like, there would always be a trailer for Redline. Like, oh, this looks really cool. The animation looks awesome. And I remember when Mad Max Fury Road came out, that there was a lot of comparisons to this movie. Want to see like another dazzling visual car race movie? Check this out. And I probably watched this movie for the first time like 5 years ago or something, but it was on my radar for a while, and like it is absolutely gorgeous. I haven't gone that deep into older anime shows, but like I like the style of it. This movie looks very like East anime kind of, like just the way the character designs are.
Well, it's all hand animated, right? So it's got the weight to it that the more modern CGI stuff has to it. So I don't know what the anime is because I didn't dig too deep into it. And it was this like dance anime with like this K-pop dance group, and it was going around on my Twitter timeline. And the way they were using it is they were doing like some more traditional 2D animation, but for any of like the really intense, like for any of the stuff that wasn't the hyper intense dancing, it looked like a Monty Ohm machinima in the middle of like fucking the middle of like Red versus Blue Halo, and then it just immediately snapped back to the older stuff. And that's the big problem I have with the modern animation, is the quality is so inconsistent. Whereas this is just lovingly hand drawn all the way down, and it has like a huge amount of weight, and it has the bend and flex that you don't see in a lot of modern anime either. Whereas they're allowing things to distort with the speed and allowing things to distort just because it looks cool. And it's stuff like that where I go, fuck, I love this. This is such a labor of love.
Yeah, like this movie has over 100,000 hand-drawn frames.
Jeez. I couldn't imagine. Like, that's crazy. How long did it take them to make? Do you know?
Took about 7 years for them to get this movie done. Redline started off its life in 2003 with an OVA called a Trava Fist Planet. So it's by the same director. It's also by Takeshi Koike. And it's on YouTube. It's about 40 minutes long. I skimmed through it because I was kind of crunched for time today. It has 2 minor characters that are in Redline, Ava and Shinkai. And it's also made by Madhouse as well. It's a very similar animation style. It takes place in the same universe. So it was just after Trava Fist Planet came out, they started working on having Koike start making a feature film. The co-writer I'm going to be really bad at pronouncing names. Katsuhito Ishii. Katsuhito Ishii. He got the idea for this film when he was visiting rural America, and he was kind of like, hey, like people are more interested in tinkering around with their cars than they are going to the movies, which he's kind of surprised about. So they started working on Redline around the point in time, and so it's Madhouse animation studios that did this movie, and like they did stuff like Ninja Scroll, Death Note, Perfect Blue, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. Uh, and it took it took around 7 years to get done, and you can tell a lot of money went towards it because this kind of animation. The reason why you don't see that often anymore is because it's not cheap.
No, it needs people, and it needs so many people drawing things, and it takes forever just to do like 24 frames a second. If you're doing traditional film, right, is still that's 24 frames for a single second of film, and this has a runtime of 100 minutes, right? So that's you gave us a number of how many frames. Like, that's a lot of time to draw, even if some of them are, it's a long time.
Oh yeah, like the most expensive movie ever made in Japan is The Boy and the Heron, and that movie's hand drawn as well. And of course, like hand drawn now, that's kind of animation style. So like, it's not literally people sitting around with like pencils in hand drawing it. It's just the fact that they are doing it frame by frame and not just like rendering in some 3D software, like like something like I don't know, Zootopia would be.
Yeah, which it's a marked difference, right? One thing you brought up that I would love to talk about was you brought up two of the characters were from his previous work. That actually really stuck out to me across the board when I was rewatching it this time. It was like every single one of these minor characters, like the named races, they're all their intros and stuff, but so many, there was like the sense that there was so much more happening in this world was really cool to me. It was like, why is the machine planet like this? I don't know but it's there's something happening. Why is like, what's the bounty hunter guy was like best brawls number 7. I was like, okay, yeah, so we know him, but there's like so much that he's going on. He's also a mercenary. Machine Head's been like slowly. I'd love to see just like the story of Machine Head stretched out or something. That'd be sick. There was so much of this stuff that I was like, oh man, this would be cool as hell.
I could see them easily fleshing this out. You could make a really cool video game out of this, I think.
Oh
like
yeah, I'd love to see
an F-Zero type thing. Like there's a lot of ways you could easily expand Redline, I think. And it's kind of nice that they didn't, because it's kind of nice that things can just stand alone now. But yeah, there's just so much of this world that just seems to be dripping with potential, like just as it seems. It's kind of like, it reminds me a lot like of one of my favorite movies to do that is Blade Runner, and just how much like small little details just are in the periphery that really make the world seem a lot bigger, that you don't really need to get explained for it. It makes the film feel so much bigger by the fact that you just have these small little details that you don't really have to overly explain. Because that's the problem with a lot of modern movies now, is like you have to over-explain everything. Like everything in Star Wars has its own spin-off now. Like, nothing in Star Wars can be left alone. You're going to learn a lot about it through like an 8-episode TV show on Disney Plus.
Yeah, like I've seen this gone around a lot on Twitter. It's called the Surf Dracula problem, right? Like, have you seen that particular post about Surf Dracula?
Surf Dracula? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're like modern movies are they're all about doing the 8 episodes to get you to the point where he surfs for the first time, whereas something made back here is like, no, he's Surf Dracula and he surfs. Let's watch him surf.
Yeah.
And this is like, this movie is again is better for just going, they're on Robo World, they've got robos. Good luck.
Yeah,
I was like, that's cool.
It's so fascinating too, because like there's little things in that, like the fact that the Robo World president is like, oh, like we're doing this for the good of humanity. So like they are humans, but they're augmented in a different way. They look kind of different, and you kind of like I watched this movie twice through for this recording. So I watched it once with the Japanese voice and watched it one with the English dub. I did my notes the English dub. I know there's going to be a lot of terminology that's kind of different between the two translations, so maybe some discrepancies there. But yeah, it's like, it's interesting just to see that like this world's like a lot of things are thought out. And like what I was reading too is that so like what Koike did was that he was for the writing process too, which is probably why it took so long as well, is that he would kind of draw whatever he wanted, and Ishii would kind of help out flesh out those ideas and make it like help write further ideas with that, help flesh out the world a lot more. So it wasn't just all just like we have all these ideas right away. They kind of have the ability to kind of like blossom out and kind of grow as the animation came along, which, some movies and shows have problems with, where you just have a million ideas, just keep going and going and going. Whereas this one, it feels organic. This entire world of like, this entire galaxy of like so many different types of worlds. There's magic involved in this universe. There's robots. There's a giant funky boy baby. Like there's like a
Why is he a
lot of things.
baby? You
It,
know, doesn't explain.
yeah, and it all feels like it belongs in the same universe.
Yeah, I love that, to be honest. It was just like, oh, they'll briefly explain why the moon they're preparing on is like right next to the planet. They'll briefly go, oh yeah, they've agreed not to use magic. And you're like, okay, I guess we're doing magic now. All
Yeah.
right, sweet. It
Yeah.
was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by just how organic it all feels, despite it being a trillion ideas in one. Another thing about the production movie too is that so usually with animation you have like background artists working on everything as well, including storyboards. Koike, he also drew the backgrounds as well when he's kind of the storyboard process and kind of ideas. So it gives it like a real special amount of depth. I think the way it looks like it doesn't look. It looks like the foreground and the background are all part of one thing. Whereas a lot of animations, sometimes it seems like it's clearly two separate people drawing this because that's just how it's usually done.
I think my biggest piece that I loved about the style of this movie was the color for me.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna like just I love the fact that everything was colorful, bright. Everyone had like you could see reds and yellow. Like his car, a bright fucking yellow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's beautiful. And it's just like you don't see that now because everything's now all gray and flat toned.
Like I just saw the new Running Man a couple days ago, and like that's a
Oh.
really dull looking movie. And watching this, it was so refreshing just seeing colors just pop. It looks so gorgeous.
And the thing that actually sticks with me, even like I drive. I own a stupid sports car, right? I
Mhm.
put on stupid music when I drive it. I'm not immune to putting on the Redline soundtrack and
Oh, nice.
going for a drive, listening to Yellow Line or Machine Head's theme or whatever, because they're all fucking sick.
That's so cool. Yeah. I don't know, like I just drive like a simple sedan around, so like I don't really know much of how cars work and stuff. I put gas in it and I take it to some kind of fixed up occasionally. That's about it. So anytime I get anything wrong about cars, please feel free to let me know.
Definitely will. Like they don't really go too deep into the specifics. Like
Mhm.
the crab Sonashi is a crab shaped hover car.
Yeah.
Or like Sweet JP's engine, I think if I remember the line, said it made 3,500 horsepower. For reference, a Formula One car in 2025 maybe makes 1,100,
Mhm.
including its electrics in qualifying. So it's like these are numbers that don't reel.
Mhm.
And it's like, but they don't really bother going too deep into it. But it's like, it's still great, still fucking
Mhm.
sick as hell. Like, why is this guy integrated into a car? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we'll get into some of the car designs too later on because they're really funky looking. They're really cool. So yeah, so let's I guess the one last thing about this movie is that Madhouse, they put a lot of money into making this movie. It cost $30 million. They thought it was going to be a huge success, and it was not a success at the box office.
Do you have numbers on that? Like define not a success. What was their box office take if you have it?
$8 million.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh no.
and I can only find for the specifically the Japanese box office for the opening weekend. It made 100 million yen, which was what would that be in 2009 dollars? I think now it's worth about like it's under $1 million still for opening weekend, which is not the best.
No, yeah, so it's less than $1 million US, so that's not great.
Yeah, and Mattis was expecting this to be a big hit, which it was unfortunately not. But it rocks, and we're going to get into why it rocks. The movie starts off with a little bit of a, words across the screen. In the far distant future, when all cars are giving up wheels for air cars, there existed the fools who carried on racing with the vanishing spirit. The first thing we see is we open up with there's a dog alien. He's eating pistachios and tossing away the shells. So we're instantly introduced with some really interesting creature types and alien types. And
I love that it was just a dog. It's just
yeah,
that's just a dog, and like there's all these creatures, and then just a dog guy.
Yeah, and like
Cool.
we see a lot of dog guys because we're on planet Dorothy, which is like apparently the dog planet homeworld, and there's a racer in the background there. There's a racer announcer is on the background, some speakers, and they're the yellow line race is happening right now, which is a big qualifier race for the red line event, which is the big final event that happens once every 5 years in this galaxy. What I love about the sequence is that like, there's a lot of just aliens, just like of different types, sizes, and everything. They all look so many great designs, and like they're hanging around just like you would if you're going to like just a normal racetrack. Like there's kids playing with balls and stuff. There's like some aliens smoking hookahs. There's some dog aliens placing bets with one another. So it feels like very like, oh, like that is just like you can easily relate to that. So like we can relate to that
Yeah.
because like we've seen something like that if we've gone into the tracks ourselves. So
Yeah.
it's alien but not too foreign.
It's very, you wouldn't see it at like your high-end professional stuff, like your Formula Ones, your V8 supercars, that sort of stuff. No, you're there to kind of watch, but it's definitely the same vibe that I would see back when I was younger, going to like the local motorcycle races down where they would like turn the streets at my grandparents' town into a motorcycle track for a day. That they'd close off the streets, they'd put up barricades, they'd put up the starting lights, and like thousands of motorcyclists would come in and do races around these streets.
Cool.
And it was cool as hell. But like one of the butcher stores would like set up a barbecue and just be selling sausages out of the front of the butcher shop that they'd like home killed out of the local farm beef. And the bars would just be setting up like as many tables as they could fit outside, so you could watch the motorcycles go past. And it's like very low budget, probably not that safe. But if you were there and really be like, oh, they've got a flimsy steel barrier that's waist high between them and cars going 400 kilometers an hour. Oh no, that shouldn't be happening. But then again, you get the feeling there's not a really big sense of like personal safety in this world based on a few of the other scenes. So it's just like, if you die, you die.
Yeah. And so the cars are incredibly fast too. Like finally see them show up to this section of the track there, and they are going so incredibly fast that like there's this one like a little kid trying to get their dad to like record part of the event and everything to get to the best spot for it. So the kid's there and the dad's there, and the cars zip by, and like literally it's about 2 seconds worth of them seeing the cars because they're going by so fast.
Nothing, and then you get the fucking soundtrack drop, which is the part that like sits in my head. It's just the big pumping.
It just amps up, and you get to see the music's great, and you get to see all these awesome designs, and like they're great designs all across the board. Like, there's nothing in this movie that really stuck out like this looks hideous. Like I think everything in this movie is cool in its own way. And I think it's because the animation style is so like varied. The designs are so varied that like everything kind of feels like it can fit in this world and not be like totally out of place. Like it jives together all so well. So the first racer we kind of meet is Sonoshi McLaren. She's nicknamed the Cherry Boy Hunter, and her car is like a really glossy and curvy red car. It's a great looking mobile. It doesn't have wheels. It kind of hovers around. And there's other racers too, which have great designs. So like this is kind of just a great way to show like how like this world operates with all these cool like racers. And like there's a guy named Captain Two Block. There's Bonds. He's a dog man, and they say like, oh, he's named to Planet Dorothy. Also, this whole thing, there's the commentators of the race are speaking as well, so we're kind of getting what the audience is hearing as well when they're watching the broadcast at home. Also, like names like there's a pair of racers called like Count Mark D and Spark. And then my favorite one introduction of this is Diguan, who she comes from a planet whose princess rules with magical powers. Like, okay, sure, magic's in this movie, awesome.
Yeah. I guess on Sonoshi, so McLaren is a famous motor racing name in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the car brand McLaren. It's also they were founded by a New Zealander, Bruce McLaren. So that's just a really cool that they're like, oh yeah, let's just throw that in. But it's also a sick name. So she's driving like the fucking crab Sonoshi, which is like a little crab shaped hovercraft, and I love it. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite cars from the movie.
Yeah.
And I love how like all the racers' personalities are like in their cars too. It's really cool. Like the cars themselves are characters almost, like extensions of the character. Yeah,
like we had to meet a Sweet JP pretty fast. He's our protagonist, and like he's in a Trans Am, and it's a lot of like knobs and things to flip and buttons to push in there. It's a very tactile car, and for a guy, he's dressed like a greaser pretty much, and like he has a leather jacket, a big pompadour haircut. And so, yeah, you get for this car his personality right from his car too, because here's a guy who's kind of more old school, more tactical, more, he doesn't need the wheels that like he uses the car with wheels. He doesn't need to fly off the ground and stuff. He uses like things that kind of like, exists in like our world, which like, I'm not sure how accurate Fast and Furious is with this nitrous boosts, but this movie has a lot of nitrous boosts he uses.
Not particularly accurate. If it is like basically it's like an extra couple hundred horsepower for however long your engine can take it is what you tune it for, right? Mm-hmm. But like his car is so grounded. It's just like it's a stylized looking like regular car. Like it reminds me of a Mustang.
Mhm.
And it's a Trans Am, like it's explicitly a Trans Am.
Mhm.
And but it's like it's very much like just a normal looking car with four wheels, whereas everyone else is like, here's my 2-person race machine shaped like a gun,
Mhm.
or my spider bot machine. It's all that sort of stuff. And it's like, so he's very grounded, except his hair is also as big as he is.
His
I
hair
love
is
his hair.
massive.
It rules.
It's important to the plot later on too. And so he's behind. JP is behind the rest of the racers. Like he's in the second group right now. He's 14 seconds behind. The announcer's kind of like, "Oh, hey, JP's behind the race right now." So JP says like, "Oh, you don't know a thing about racing," and then he like takes this little capsule there and tosses it in the little chamber, which activates the nitro boost, and he like just rockets ahead. And I love it anytime this movie has people just generating a lot of speed at once, because the way that the bodies stretch is so cool.
Yes. So, and it's that sort of stuff that's like, they can't really do as easily in the 3D modeling style of animation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's just a crazy amount of like distortion, and like his whole face gets pushed back, and they really communicate like the speed boost every time he hits a nitro, like the tears coming out of his eyes, coming backwards
Mm-hmm.
as he's like slammed in. And like you do get that. I've been in race cars before as a passenger, and it's like you get forced back into the seat. Like you can't
Mm-hmm.
move because of the G-force, and it's like they really did communicate that sort of stuff really well, just over and above.
Yeah, like I've again not make a big of a car guy. I've never gone to a car that's gone that fast, but like I've seen like on TV like F1 races. I saw the F1 movie and like hearing about like how those racers like the amount of like G-force they take when they're driving, and those are just cars based in our reality. These aren't these mega fast like alien cars in the future.
Yeah, I guess if you want to, like, if anyone listening wants to pull up their phone, you can Google Formula One driver neck, and you'll see the kind of like their necks are like this, like the size of tree trunks because
Mm-hmm.
of like the amount of G-force they have to take and keep their like, um, and keep their necks upright. So every single Formula One driver is like 5'8" twink of a man, but with a neck the size of a man 200 pounds bigger. It's so bizarre.
Yeah. Is that just really like practice, or like do people like, hey, like you have a neck and the size of a driver, you should go race?
It's kind of like you grow the stronger neck as you start racing, like, and they
Mm-hmm.
do train for it. I've seen training where they do it because they have to, because they're holding like a 3 kilo helmet or whatever big their helmet is on their head, but also going through 6 G forces to the side, so they get a really good workout of the neck
Mm-hmm.
afterwards. And I've seen people who get into these race cars for the first time and they'll go 3 laps and go, okay, cool, I can't actually keep my head up anymore. I'm done. My neck's given up.
Oh my god, yeah. Like I'm surprised people's necks don't get snapped more often with that force. Like, yeah, like I don't know, I think it'd be kind of fun to go through like go really fast in a car like that, just to try it out sometime, just to see
It's
what it
fun.
does to my body. Yeah.
Racing cars are fun, and and like they definitely nail like this massive sense of speed where it's like everything's just noise. It's just noise and everything's blurring. You can't move your body. They really do nail that down.
Hmm. And like when the cars are going to like get all close to one another, start crashing into one another, it's so cool looking too. Like the animation style, just like around when they're going around the curves and stuff. Like the race scenes look like, can't understand how awesome this movie looks with the actual scenes itself. Just the external parts of the cars and stuff, coming back to the drivers. And again, because like you mentioned that the personality of the driver matches the car, like we can instantly tell like who's driving which car from the people we've met, which is really really great. Like a feat of animation, I'd say.
Yeah, it's great. Like you get shown their car once, and it's like, okay, sweet, that is their car. I get it. It's who they are. Like they like the bounty hunter duo that we see later in the movie. Like their car's like this fucked up Batmobile, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh no, yeah, that makes sense for those
Yeah.
guys to have a fucked up Batmobile. That's perfect. That's no notes. I have no change. The Cherry Boy Hunter Sonoshi McLaren has this like hyper stylized hover car that reminds me of a Le Mans race car. It's like, yeah, makes sense for her to have this hyper aerodynamic thing. Perfect. No
Mm-hmm.
notes.
And so also in this race, we get a racer called Psycho Man. He starts launching rockets at JP. So in these races, anything goes. So like people can shoot guns, fire rockets, like launch like grappling hooks at people, grappling hook rockets. Like it's really it's like almost like you're playing like Diddy Kong Racing or Mario Kart. It's just the amount of like carnage you can actually put against someone. And
Yeah. One key note for this movie though is JP refuses to use weapons. He
mhm,
does not have like it's a plot point explicitly at one or 2 points where he's like, I don't know weapons are going in my car. I'm
mhm.
just racing.
Yeah, like he's a purist, and like also as part of the race, JP and Asanashi they catch eyes during the race, and they will get deeper in the relationship as we go along, but it's like pretty big. He's notices things about her, and so we cut to JP's alien mechanic whose name is Frisbee. He's with the mafia. He's watching a race with them, and they have guns set to him, and so they've rigged this race for JP to come in second place. Um, Behind Frisbee, we see a TV with updated odds. So like they're clearly betting on like the dip when JP's very far behind, and then waiting for him to get to second place, and then Frisbee's going to detonate a little explosive underneath his car, so JP won't finish the race in first place. He'll finish it in second place, but the mob will make their money. And I love this part so much because the mob boss, he is gumming like so much space cocaine right here. Like he's just putting his finger up around his gums and everything as he's talking, and that's where the animation shines. The absolute attention to detail of like how like gnarly all like the finger under the skin, under the lips and stuff. It looks so like you get this guy as kind of a disgusting like sleazy bastard just by the way he's doing these drugs in front of the guy.
I mean, likely thing for a mob boss to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's they get this cut back, and it's like, no, I trust that JP will come through. And I don't know if I missed it. Was JP? Yeah, JP was in on this. He
Yeah.
knew it, but the bomb was like how they were going to do it. It's like, I'm going to be in the lead. Everyone's going to bet, make their money. The mob's going to fleece them for all they're worth, and then I'm just going to throw right at the last second. So it's the racing equivalent of a fixed fight, right? Where it's like you're going to take a dive in the eighth,
Mm-hmm.
or break your sister's kneecaps,
Yeah.
type sort of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that the cool thing about this for me is when that exploded right at the end is his car starts going and flipping, and everyone else is and loses all the speed, right? Doesn't go over, and everyone's so fast that like 6 cars pass him in like
Mm-hmm.
the split second it takes
Like
him to move
instantly,
the
yeah.
last meter. It's like that's just like, oh shit, they are moving fast.
Yeah. And it's also like kind of implied that like JP wants to win. So this explosive thing is to kind of make sure he actually will like not try and win the race. Like they're really concerned about him. Just like, what if he decides to win this race? Because if he wins this race, he goes to Redline. Redline is such a big deal that like any racer would want to go there. But the bomb goes off, he spirals out and everything. All the racers pass him, and
Ends up in hospital.
yeah, ends up at the hospital. But Sanashi McLaren wins the race, and we get so like after the race is done, we get the very cool title card of this movie, which is like it's a white screen. You can see a bunch of the red silhouettes of cars draw, and they all fuse together form a red line. And a vocalist says "Red Line," which is awesome. More movies should do that. And then you also have another voice say directed by Takeshi Koike, which is great. I think more movies should let you know how the director's name is pronounced, because I've flubbed that like 4 times. And yeah, just like a nice little like quirk that this is a movie by a person, which is great. Instead of a movie just like by a committee.
It's like every James Bond movie has their opening theme where they're like, it's Thunderball or whatever. I can't remember the Thunderball theme, but it's like, Die Another Day, where they just get Madonna talking about Sigmund Freud, but also, I guess I'm gonna die another day. Yeah, and this is the same thing. It's like, no, this movie is called Redline. The theme song is called Redline. It's great.
And there's a love song in the end credits called Red Line Day, which is so funny.
It's like they knew what they were doing, and it was great.
Yeah. So JP's at the hospital, and he's watching the broadcast on TV, Sonasi celebrating on TV. Frisbee arrives, and he dumps a big suitcase of money on his bed and says, like, hey, like, now you can pay back your bail bondsman and your hospital bills as well. JP mentions that, like, transient loss cost a lot of money, and Frisbee would have done something extremely sketchy to get it. JP rejects the money at this point. He's like, he gets some morals, like, he doesn't want to get involved with this dirty money at all, which, like, he's already in on the was he on the fix of this? Because it seems like he's kind of questioning it here. Yeah, because I think now he's just having a good bit moral backbone. He's not going to get involved with the mob. And
yeah, so he's in on the fix because because Frisbee fell into the mob first to get the money, and
Mm-hmm.
so he's like, I'm doing this to bail out my good friend Frisbee.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he agreed to do it. But then he's like, then I think he has a bit of like a change of heart. He goes, actually, kind of fuck the mob. I'm out. This is
Now that the
but
money's
he tries to do the classic. I'm out now. I'm done. Actually, he's not out now. Otherwise,
yeah. All of a sudden, dozens of reporters storm the room, and it's like a complete like zergling attack of reporters against his bed there. And I was like, "Hey, like JP, what's it like to be part of the Redline race now?" He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I lost the race." And it turns out that if Redline, because they had announced where Redline's going to take place, it's taking place on Robo World, and Robo World is a place where people are kind of afraid of it. So two races that qualified for Redline ended up dropping out. So we see the president of Robo World on a news broadcast. And he's kind of the villain in the movie, and he's pissed that Redline's happening on his in his people's territory. So it seems like the Redline organizers have like a lot of power in this universe. They can kind of just like, our race is going to happen on this planet here. Doesn't matter if you like it or not. And he starts threatening death and destruction for anyone who wants to race on Robo World. And one of the races drops out. He's like a 60s hippie looking alien, and he's dropping out because he's not, I'm a racer, not a soldier. So it's, kind of pacifist there. And some other guy, some like capitalist robot guy, he's like, oh, I don't upset all my Robo World clients. And
yeah, it's like, oh, they're my clients. It's very much like, no, I can't upset my clients. Type guy, and it's very sleazy, very smarmy.
I would love to
kind
see
of
him
guy.
die in a race.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. So the replacement for those racers who dropped out, they're all determined by a fan popularity vote, and JP wins the vote. So JP's like, yeah, Robo World, here I come, and he's off to the races. And
he said he was out, but no, he's got one more in me.
Yeah,
right, the
classic.
It's
the big race, so he kind of wants to prove himself. And so all the racers and the Redline organizers, they arrive in giant spaceships to Europass, which is a satellite moon of Robo World. And I love the shot so much of all those transport ships ejecting all the pods with people on them down to the planet. There's like dozens and hundreds of these pods coming down. They're all individual. It looks awesome. Like this movie's just one of the most gorgeous anime movies I've seen. It looks so wonderful, and it's like new, cool design every scene. And
it comes back to like how we said, everything doesn't really care if you live or die. This is one of them where he's like, how the fuck do I stop? It's they just kind of threw you out and assumed you'd be cool. Okay.
Yeah. There's no like automated parachute or something like that. Like he has to look around the whole cockpit, like, where's the knob to turn on the flaps to slow me down? So we learned a little about Europass from another one of those military boardroom scenes of or war room scenes, I guess, from the Robo World president. The Robo World president, like his this whole war room, the Robo World insignia looks very Third Reich like. Like it's not a swastika, but it is like the white, the black, and it's a similar kind of lines.
Yeah, I watched this with my I was watching this with my fiance, and she just like piped up. It's like, hang on a minute, what's that logo?
Yeah.
And it definitely made us a little uncomfortable when we noticed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are not good people here, so it's good shorthand for how awful they're going to be. So turns out like there's a giant war, and all the refugees were told there's a giant war with the M3 Nebula Federation, and all the refugees were told they can go to this demilitarized zone, which is this Europass place. So they're kind of freaking out though, because they think that Redline's happening so that people can find out all of Robo World's secrets there. So the race happened that way. So they're kind of cracked down. People arrive at the planet there. They want to send soldiers into this demilitarized place to kind of crack down on them before they can learn all of Robo World's military secrets. And it's not really about like Robo World trying to defend its own people. The president keeps going on about how like go fight for death and justice and absolute righteousness, but he's not really doing it for the good of his people. It is truly just all fascist stuff.
It's they keep bringing up. It's like they're going to violate the peace treaty. They're going to see our secret weapons. They're going to. It's all very like it's very much we are fascists. We're coming up with reasons to keep being fascists. Mm-hmm. Stay away from our fascist planet, otherwise we're going to keep being fascists in your general direction fascistly.
Yeah.
And he's got like 3 people in his ear going, oh yeah, they'll see our secret base, sir. And he's like, if I nuke them.
Yeah. Yeah, and like when we find out the kind of weapons they are building there, they're really creative ways to kill people. So that's yeah, you kind of see why they want to keep things quiet, but also like Robo World's developing these for very nefarious purposes.
I guess never explained. They're just like they're kind of semi at war with the space fairies. I think is what my shorthand of them. They've kind of been vaguely at war, but also they're a weird Nazi fascist empire. So I guess that's just kind of their whole deal is they're just like they're here, we have to kill them because we're evil.
Mm-hmm.
And it just that kind of drives the rest of the plot.
Yeah. But it's also so interesting in this movie too is that the fact that the race organizers have so much power that they can just like oh yeah, we're just going to have this big this big race right at your planet there. Like it could be the fact that whatever planet it is where the princess is from is behind all the behind organized Redline race to be on this planet here. But it seems like everyone's kind of at the mercy of Redline. Like no one really has a choice.
I think it's like my interpretation of it wasn't more that you don't have a choice. It was like we're racing here. Good luck. We're coming through. You can try and stop us. It's very much like we're just dropping 6 races on here. Like that, you can try and stop them. They're just going to go real fucking fast, and that's it. Like it's I did come like once you realized later on who the person like doing all of the stuff to initiate it and like the ship they're on, it like kind of makes a little more sense for that part. But like the vibe was like they're just racing here. That's that. Deal with it.
Running Man in my mind because I just saw the movie and I did an episode on it like last week, and like it seems like it'd also be great for TV ratings as well. Just having people like having soldiers shoot your racers during the big event, that seems to be very exciting television.
Oh yeah, I would. Okay, so yeah, a couple of years ago in Formula One, like a missile hit like a kilometer off the track, like just before the race started. It's either just before or just after, and it's like, oh, this is in like one of the races in the Middle East, and so I was like, oh, ooh,
that's scary stuff. Shit,
which is just a little scary, but it's like, oh, yeah, that is great. That is great TV, actually. People, if there was explosions happening once in a while, it'd be great. I'll tune into Carmageddon if it was real.
Yeah. Like, I would absolutely watch Twisted Metal if it was a real TV show in real life. Like, watch some absolute carnage, just like, blood sport's a little fun, but also, like, if a rocket blew up half the track there, that'd be kind of like, oh, like, that's, that's kind of must-see TV in a way.
I mean, your only chance is to see it live. I don't think in the real world it would get no, it'd end up on the timeline pretty quickly, actually. We saw. Yeah.
And also, like, one thing this movie too is that so the way they film these races, they have these like little like spherical ships called portals with someone driving it. They're kind of filming the races as they go along. So like I had some issues with some of the Running Man where it's like, how the fuck is all this entire event being recorded? But this movie does a good job, and you're like, oh yeah, no, they have all the logistics figured out of how this race is done, how it's organized, like the track, how the track's laid out, how the finish line's laid out. They do a good job of actually like selling this as like, hey, we've thought about all this stuff and what goes into the logistics of setting an event like this up. So on Europass, JP's arrived down there. It's a really rocky, barren looking world. So he meets up with this old junk dealer friend, Old Man Mole. And Old Man Mole, he's an alien with 4 arms. And he's got in possession of JP's busted Trans Am. So he's trying to convince JP to add some weapons to the car because the Redline rulebooks allow you to do anything. JP is a pacifist, or he doesn't really want to get involved in the violence, so he's refuses to let any weapons on his car. And
it comes across as like a purist. Like he's like he's not doing it for pacifism. I don't think like he doesn't give me the vibe of guy who thinks he's above weapons. He's a guy who's like, no, I'm doing this because I'm racing. I'm not doing this to have a gunfight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he's not part of this revolution to throw over Robo World. He's just doing it for the love of the race.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't really have any like obvious political affiliations. He's just here to race his car. And so JP mentions to Old Man Mole that he wants Frisbee to fix the car. Old Man Mole's pissed off because he knows about Frisbee's mob connections. And we learn a little bit more about how JP and Frisbee are old friends. They go way back. And I guess doled out throughout the movie. We can kind of go into here where basically it is that there's a race like 7 years ago that Frisbee, he believed in JP so much that he, going to the mob, borrowed some money to get JP a really good car. but it kind of put Frisbee's life into the hands of the mafia seemingly forever. So they're constantly trying to pay off Frisbee's like life debt and such. And JP ended up getting arrested for for fixing a race, and uh he had to pay out his bail bondsman after the yellow line race, and now he's on parole, so he's able to go out and do things. He's not necessarily under the thumb too much, but he still wants to help out Frisbee. And so,
yeah,
sorry?
he's kind of agreed. That's why he's agreed. He was like, so he's like, I'm out, and then he's like, no, we're going to Redline. Get your fucking, go back to the mob, get some more money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is the biggest? If you're going to do one last score, have it be the final race of the season. Like, how often are you going to qualify to get that? Like, use your mob connections when you can use them, right? Like,
it's amongst us.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I had mob connections. So at the there's an Oasis restaurant, which is like a water theme place, and JP encounters a Sonacy there, and there's a server there that like, his pants fall down when he's serving her, and he's completely embarrassed, which is pretty funny. And he introduces JP introduces himself to her, and he kind of one really funny bit here is he stops her from eating some pasta she's about to put in her mouth, and there's like it's like spaghetti noodles, but they're writhing because they're alive.
Yeah, it's kind of like here's all the weird, gross alien food.
There's like it's like her meal is like spaghetti that moves around and like cooked red lobster. Like it's interesting where it's like okay, I can relate to the spaghetti. I cannot relate to having like spaghetti and lobster together, and an alien comes by and eventually eats it. I think it's the guy from that prequel OVA comes along and he
It
eats
is, yes.
he eats the spaghetti and the lobster all in like one giant twirl, which is really funny. And so
yeah, and he's like, "Oh, can I eat you as well?" To
yeah,
Sonashi, like, and
yeah,
it's like she's like, "Ah, fuck off,
yeah,
little weird pervert."
yeah, yeah. She gets a lot of attention for being in this race here too, and also like it's an anime movie. She's drawn with a very male gaze eye put towards her.
My fiance raised this more than I did. I felt like even the cars had male gaze drawn towards them. Like this was like the cars were drawn by someone that really wanted to have sex with the cars.
Yeah,
And it feels like that permeates the whole movie.
well, there's that one car drawn by the Superboyns, the pair of racers from the Magic Planet, and that car
Yeah.
really turns into a sexy robot lady.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that this movie is a movie that people want to fuck the females and fuck the female cars,
And we get a bunch of like extra character introductions in this scene, don't we?
yeah, a bunch of them like Colonel what are the big? I didn't write a lot of them down. Yeah, oh yeah, we hit Machine Head.
We get Machine Head. We get but we also get Machine Head comes in as I'm Machine Head. I'm the coolest motherfucker in this movie, which he is. He's cooler than Sweet JP. That is my opinion. But we also get like the crying soldier robot. We get the Colonel from the military, who's again in that same kind where he's like, I'm in charge, gentlemen. And you guys thought, no, this is demilitarized zone, fuck off type stuff. And then we just get, then it just all fucking explodes because everything has to explode.
Yeah, the Colonel Volton's trying to like crack down on the people who could be all the racers trying to invade Robo World space. He gets all the soldiers down there, and because this restaurant is like aquatic theme, there's a bunch of aquariums around it. When the glass breaks, when all the water flows out, because again it's the hand-drawn animation we talked about too, and the fact they can do the kind of like the way the body stretches, the way that the water flows, it looks so cool. And Volton's threatening everyone with military force, anyone who participates in the race. JP starts making fun of his cigar smoke and just gets bonked in the head by the soldiers' guns. We get a flashback at this point where as JP and Frisbee, they're teenagers, they're a lot younger, and they're watching a race, and Sonashi is actually in the race herself, and she just crashed her car into like a corner, and she's determined to fix this car. She's like really yelling in desperation how she needs to get back in the race. This is all she wants to do, and he's completely completely struck by her, and it seems like this is what really inspired JP to get into racing. And when the flashback's on, you go to modern times, he just says, like in a voiceover, like he assumes that she does not remember this incident at all. It probably not mean much to her, but it meant so much to him. But
yeah,
I think
that definitely gave me the same same vibe. Actually, yeah, I was like, this is like a formative moment for him, and he thinks maybe not for her.
Yeah, because like it seemed like such pure racing what she was doing, and like Yeah, compared to all the other extra stuff where, weapons and rockets and hover cars, it's like this is just a pure car on the track, just running around in circles. And I think he's really attracted towards absolute determination. Like, I need to get back on the track and win this. And I think that for him, he kind of wants to get back on his own track and just win things. So we also see, like, at this point, Robo World's trying to crack down on their own citizens. So there's a bunch of miners who they get off work. They have the miners have these like big power suits, and so they get off work and they start betting on the Redline race. They set up all the chalkboards and everything. There's banners for this, and Robo World enforcers just start coming along and killing the people who are assembling. And the Robo World defense bots look really cool. There's like white female robots with like white tentacle arms that that are pretty long and they can slice things.
Yeah, that was for me. That felt like it was almost like you hadn't seen that from the rest of RoboWorld. Like the rest of RoboWorld stuff felt like it was very angular and blocky, and it's like, oh no, they're actually very advanced. This is like the first part where you're like, oh, they're actually more advanced than you'd think.
Yeah.
Which is obviously scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they make easy work of all these protests. Not even protesters; they're just people who are trying to bet on the race. Yeah, just workers. Yeah, and so Sonashi's now watching just a TV broadcast about Redline, and this scene's outrageous because she's just topless, and as she's just watching TV, you're just seeing her absolute massive anime boobs, the biggest massive anime nipples, just like perking right up as she's just watching TV. It's so anime.
It's very gratuitous in a way. It's like, oh, why is this there? I guess, sweet. Yeah. If you're going to hand draw boobs,
yeah,
go for it.
Yeah. And also in this broadcast, we get to meet the Super Boyans, who are a racing pair who are very sexualized. They're from planet Supergrass, which is the magical world. So they swore not to use magic during this race, but like they are very like, we love our fans so very much, kissy kissy. Like, there's also that one. Is she one of the ones where there's one great gif of like her like licking her tongue and like forks it
into her nose for some reason.
Yeah. We also meet the bounty hunters in this broadcast of Lynchman and Johnny Boya. So they're bounty hunters and racers, and like you seem like you know more about like racing anime more than I do, because like Captain Falcon's also a racer / bounty hunter. Is this like a trope in anime?
Yes, and like for some reason you can't just be a racer. If you're a background character, you have to be a racer with a job.
Yeah.
Like it's not just racer and bounty hunters. Like the racer also does something else is very common, and it is always something kind of violent, right? It's like, and you get a lot of like almost every other racer in this movie has another job. They're not just a racer. Like Sonashi and JP are just racers. But like you have, Lynchman, who's the bounty hunter, the Gory Rider. You've got like, and it's like some of these guys are just like, I also have job to do, and that gives me some personality in the anime. It's a very easy way to give your character personality by giving them a job.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. And yeah, like the cool thing about this building up these characters too is that in this news broadcast, they're showing like, little clips of them like doing things in their own home, like on different planets too. So you get to see people in different races, different kinds of tracks and some more urban environments that we see in the movie. Like, so you get to, it's great I love the new news broadcast so much, this movie, for the sake of world building. Like, it gives you so much like that would have been a cool scene to see, like a full like 5-minute sequence of.
Yeah, you get it with you get the three of the races, because there's a duo getting arrested by Gory Rider, the gorilla policeman, which is, again, he's got a job. That's how you know he's got a personality. But like and then so his introductions, the interview of him going, hey, didn't you violate their civil rights? He's like, yeah, fuck off, I arrested them and I'll arrest everyone else. And then the people he arrested get their interview, and like they're sitting there for a second, you get a beat, and then they're just like, man, fuck you, Gory Rider. Motherfucker. And they get cut off. It's like, oh, it's perfect. That's it. Yeah, it's all you need to know about their personality now, is they're just like bratty little shitheads.
Yeah. And like most of these racers don't really have big moments in the movie too. It's not like they have like a big plot moment where like, there's real like emotional catharsis. A lot of it is just pure flavor and just adding more personality to this universe.
Yeah, like they just they're there in the race. They don't have any story arcs to mess around with. So,
but there is one story arc that has with these racers, because we get actually we'll get to that later on. So the miners starting to fight back against Rebel World, so they get their power suits on to sabotage a military base, and the defense bot goes after them, and like by accident, because like the defense bot easily makes quick work of all these all these miners. So a power facility gets knocked out, and that causes Robo World to get really panicked because they think it's military action, even though it's just their people rising up. So the defense secretary, he's introducing a new weapon to the Robo World president, which is a hyper disintegrator cannon. And they're planning on using it to destroy the Redline mothership when arrives in Robo World space.
Yes,
And,
it's the orbital disintegrator cannon. Yeah, we've all seen that.
oh yeah, like I would love to. I'm surprised. Like people keep talking about trying to build bases on the moon and stuff, but like how far away do you think we are from like an orbital weapon of like Hammer of Dawn from Gears of War, like an orbital blast laser to absolutely just like destroy places from space? Like how far away do you think we are?
Technically, I don't know if there's like a technically about it. Like, we could put tungsten, like the rod from God's been a thing that's been theorized for like decades at this point.
Mhm.
And I don't think there's anything that could stop us from putting it up there. But a case of like, for the amount of money it would cost you, just build another intercontinental ballistic missile times 100.
Mhm.
It's kind of like technically, at any point where it becomes technically possible, it would still probably be cheaper to make a bajillion missiles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm. But maybe Rebel World is such excess that they can just like, oh yeah, we'll just build a hyper disintegrator cannon as well as our other top secret weapons. Because like that's not even the craziest weapon they have.
No, yeah, they've got. Oh no, we get there. The other guy turns up later. They've got a bigger weapon. Spoil. If you haven't watched this, please go watch it. But
If
like,
you haven't watched it, what
do.
are you doing? Just pause this, watch Redline come back. They'll still be here.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so two of the racers, Lynchman and Johnny Boy, they are hired by Redline to sabotage the orbital blast laser. So they sneak on board, and we finally successfully did it. But like we won't know that for a little bit. So at this point, the Supergrass princess, she starts using some magic. So she's controlling two scout vessels, and they're going towards a Robo-World tower, which is like their center base there, center military base. And lots of gunfire, lots of bots going after this these two ships there, and they start like dispersing some sort of like pixely red gas mist thing. It looks purely magical, and that means what she's done is she's actually marked what the finish line is going to be for the Red Line race. So the Red Line race is going to end at Robo World Tower, which is where all the Robo World people are centralized, their military. It's going to end with the race is going to finish with like the biggest colossal fucking shootout ever, because everyone's going to be defending that nonstop, as a lot of people are going to be completely just like getting closer and closer to a very, very dangerous military power. So it's going to be a very exciting ending. So the Red Line transport does arrive. So they drop the racers off to begin the event, and the president wants to arm the disintegrator cannon to destroy the racers ready to start off, but it's been sabotaged. The bounty hunters have left a little like message on the disintegrator cannon as well to indicate that like, hey, we did this.
Oh, it's good advertising for them, right? They get some more help later on. I get why they did that.
So at this point, the final race of the movie begins, and it's a very, very long sequence. It looks so good. And they have like a pair of like the Red Line broadcast, they have a pair of like commentators, color play-by-play commentators. And Robo World starts sending its soldiers in, and it's so they start like dropping their soldiers down these tubes, and they kind of just like fuse in with like little motorcycle things or like little jet plane things. And
yeah, I love those guys. That's like I just love like the biomechanicalness of their world, and it's like this is like it in a nutshell.
Yeah, it looks very like Ava Unit 1 from Neon Genesis Evangelion, of like when they jack into the vehicles, like their teeth are in pain almost, and they don't want to be in this, but like all the muscle movement with the biomechanical stuff, it looks so awesome. And so the military is in like almost full force after all the racers. The racers have to dodge the military as well as other drivers. Like Sanashi at one point has to take a gun out to shoot a rocket that's approaching her that's shot by the military. And at this point, the Robo World president keeps getting very concerned about the racers coming close to their very top secret biological weapon. And the amount of times the Robo World president says, like, they're getting close to Funky Boy. It's so awesome.
I'm like, and I don't know what Funky Boy is, right? Like, they don't really tell you, they don't even explain what Funky Boy is by the time Funky Boy appears on screen. But he's very much like this looming presence that they're obviously worried about.
Mm-hmm. Like, he is like their top secret weapon, and like the guy they have doing the English dub saying Funky Boy is so funny. And so he says like Funky Boy's not ready. He's still learning, and in the English subtitles when it's the Japanese audio says like he's still learning how to listen. but the English dub says Funky Boy's still learning discipline. So they cannot control whatever this Funky Boy is. And so JP is in the race and everything, and he's not happy he uses nitro a lot earlier than he thought he would. But he's still trying to win the race. But Frisbee meets up with the mob boss again. So the mob boss has the ship on the world, and he's playing the whole second place finish scheme yet again at the mob boss, and the mob boss still has a babe like gumming cocaine into his gums for him. So there's like a little ticking time bomb underneath JP's car yet again.
And this time, I don't know if he's agreed to this one.
I don't think so yet.
Yeah, this one feels like it's a bit different. At least this one, like the first one, I can kind of understand him being on board, but this one I don't know if he is or not, which makes it feel a bit worse.
Yeah, because it seems like the work didn't really go to acquire the parts for the car like they did the first time. Like they rebuilt the whole car and everything, but it's not like they had to buy the car fresh like it seemed like they had to do the first time for the Yellow Line race.
They make a big deal about how like this is the last ever engine of its type, and it's like super hard, like almost impossible to find. And Mole had to do some like insane work just to find it. So
yeah. So at this point, like the race is getting really close to Zone 7X, which is where Funky Boy is located. We still don't know what Funky Boy is. So the colonel is like, get all units to Zone 7X right now. So a lot of military action. Anashi's car gets completely obliterated by cannon fire. She lives, but JP has to get out of his car to help her out of the car. As this is happening, like the miners who are in revolt, they're starting to crack into Funky Boy's containment, and a racer just falls through the containment area's roof and cracks into it, and which causes Funky Boy to break out his holding cube. Like Funky Boy's kind of like stuck in like it looks like a yellow gelatinous ice cube.
Yeah, he's like this weird little guy.
Yeah,
like he's just this like gelatinous little like gooby baby who explodes.
Yeah, and like it crawls around a little bit too, and I probably almost look a little bit like a Bulbasaur. Like it's almost like a little Pokemon looking, very like orange gooey thing. Like Funky Boy, like he's able to shoot like lasers and explode things all around him. Everyone in Robo World, the War Room's worried that he'll destroy all of Robo World if Funky Boy gets loose. So the president now orders the orbital laser to kill Funky Boy with a single shot because he doesn't want Funky Boy to suffer, which is nice.
Yeah, he screams, "Fire the cannon at Funky Boy."
Yeah, but he doesn't really want. He has some fondness towards Funky Boy because he doesn't want him to die very painfully. So, Funky Boy gets blasted. The blast hurts a lot of the racers too. But Funky Boy regenerates, and so the orbital blast will take 2 hours to recharge. So they can't just hit Funky Boy with a laser beam again immediately. Asanashi and JP have a nice moment here where she asks him directly because she saw on the broadcast that JP's been arrested in the past for fixing a race. So she asks him directly. So he gives a rundown about how he was arrested in the past because he's trying to help his friend Frisbee. And Asanachi's just like, hey, we can help out Frisbee by winning the race together. So they get in the same car together and they're going to get very cozy in the single seat of the Trans Am here. And so like they activate their nitro, they're ready to win the race, get ahead. But Colonel Volton, he starts merging with another bioweapon they have. And this part's nuts. So like it's a tentacle monster that has a female voice, and as it starts integrating with him, like it gets close to him and then like gets into his nervous system. We see like the red nervous system skeleton of him. And he slowly turns into like a giant lizard that can shoot lasers as well. And do you ever play Sonic Adventure 2?
No, I have not.
It reminds me a lot of like the final boss in that game, where it's kind of a very, very like, has like swords in random places instead of a giant lizard. Yeah, so this lizard kind of reminds me of that, and it also reminds me of any generic, even him getting transformed reminds me of any Resident Evil game where some Resident Evil like evil scientist like, I'll inject myself with this evil virus. Surely it won't affect me in a negative way. And just turn into a giant monster that like is completely uncontrollable. And like, you can't turn back to human form that way. So Funky Boy and Colonel Volton in this like lizard form, they start wrestling back and forth. And yeah, so like they just kind of defeat one another that way. But like, you don't really see am I wrong? You don't really see them like explode or anything. They kind of just like I don't know, it just kind of just ends.
It just kind of like Funky Boy turns up as a problem that just kind of gets hand waved aside, which a lot of the problems in this movie do, but I don't really have
Yeah.
a problem with it because it's so cool.
Mm-hmm. I was just expecting, like, with Funky Boy and Volton fighting, that there'd be, like, like a big explosion or something else happen, but it's kind of just like they wrestle each other, and that's kind of about it. So I guess Funky Boy can keep regenerating. Maybe that's why, because Funky Boy can just regenerate, so like you can't just easily defeat him. So maybe those like put Funky Boy back into an ice cube for storage for when he's actually a bit more developed.
When he's able to listen,
Yeah,
because he's a baby after all.
yeah. He's just a little funky boy baby. Well, they're very close to winning the race right now, Sanashi and JP. So he activates the nitro, and I think she provides nitro this time because she has a little like nitro capsule that her father gave her. So she tosses it in, get a really cool effect of them kind of stretching as to show how fast they're going. And
yeah, so what's it called? It was called the Steam Light, wasn't it? It was
Steam
like
Light, yes.
Yeah, so this was like a super nitro. Like this was like 100 times the power of a regular nitro, and there was a plot point that his engine was only built in Yellow Line to take 2 hits of nitro, and for Redline they built him a 3, and he's already used 2 hits of nitro already, and this is like 100 times 1 nitro. So why the fuck is he? So can they do this?
Yeah. And as this is happening, Frisbee refuses to push the button to blow up JP's car because he wants JP just to win the race. And as the mob goons are about to take him out, kind of some Deus Ex Machina here, where Old Man Mole just crashes his bike into the ship and, kills a couple of goons trying to kill him, and just take a shotgun and blows away the mob boss. And like you see the mob boss is completely wasted away. Like, you see his finger just like falling through the air too. He gets fucked.
Because Old Man Mole saw the bomb when JP's car was upside down after the missile, after the first like explosion. So that's where like Old Man Mole's coming on like, hey, what the fuck? So that's where he like jumps on his bike and like, which is cool.
Which is perfect timing on his part, the way he's able to save us.
Perfect timing.
Guy. And he's like, we're not friends or anything. I'm doing this because like I'm a junk dealer, you're the mechanic, he's the driver. We're all part of the same team. So he's really doing it for JP to help him out. He's not really doing it for love of Frisbee at all. He still does not like Frisbee at all. And so at this point in the race, it is Sanashi and JP who are really, really close to one another. And Sanashi and JP are in one vehicle, and Machine Head is the one they have to beat. And Machine Head now activates his Platinum Nitro Charge. And
yeah, he activates his own Steam Light, basically. I think he's also got one.
Which is like, he just chomps down on it. And
which is so cool, because he's integrated himself with his own car, right? So he's like part car, and he like rides, his arms like connect to the front wheels. It's real cool. So that's a really cool way for him to activate his own nitro, is to like fucking eat it.
And like he's now like, he descends from like being near the top of his car where cockpit is to like, he after he bites into it, he like goes down to the front of the car. So now he's at the very front of the vehicle, like almost like something like the front of he's at the very front of his vehicle, almost like Mad Max Fury Road, and Mad Max like strapped to the front there. So at this point, the other survivors are completely struggling to catch up. A couple of them are just like, fuck this, they're too fast to scale their cars and start walking.
Yeah, I think a lot of the racers try and hit their own nitros to like at least keep up, but it's like, you don't have a Steam Light, so you're kind of fucked, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was it was actually the soldiers that are just like, no, fuck that, actually. Sorry, no, we can't. They're too fast.
Yeah.
So we can't get there. And they're racing to the end, and so it's 2 Steam Lights like going, who's gonna make it right to the end, which is cool.
Yeah, and so because the finish line is on top of the tower, it was like, how the fuck are they going to go a complete vertical distance to get to the top of the tower? And then the Redline mothership comes out of hyperspace right into Robo Tower, creating a perfect ramp for the racers to reach the finish line. At this point, it's like a blink and you miss the thing. I'd like rewind this like 4 times, where they're neck and neck, and then Old Man Mole is with Frisbee, and he's drunk. You can tell by those rosy cheeks. And he pushes the detonator by mistake and causes the explosion.
Frisbee somehow still holding on to it, like he's like holding on to it as a nervous thing. He's like, because that was the detonator that he's had on for the bomb. And Old Man Mole doesn't realize and hits it, which is very fun. And
so that causes them to gain extra little bit of speed, but the car is completely falling apart at this point. And JP and Sanashi get launched out of the car, and Machine has launched out of the front of his car too. And so they're all other vehicles, and but JP and Sanshi wins because JP's hair is big enough and goes far forward enough that he's the first one to get over the finish line.
His
So,
hair peeks through the like the magical barrier,
mhm,
which is cool as hell.
yeah, and they start levitating in the air. Everyone, like the other racers, are cheering and stuff. The announcers are going crazy because Sanshi and JP won Redline, and as they're in the air, there's like some blue magic going around them too. They're floating around. They say that they love each other, then they kiss, and it's like on the screen as a title, the word love pops up, and this is the end with a heart.
It's just like, yeah, let's just sweet. That's how we now. It's a love story. So I
Yeah,
get how they got there, but it feels for me that was the part that kind of like sat out as the weirdest part of the movie. It's like the movie would have been just as cool if they didn't have the like. It was already kind of like spoken. They didn't need to just like state it so obviously.
yeah, especially because both characters' whole driving force is that they want to win races, right? It's not about love for one another. His love for her is what inspired him to want to become a racer. And I didn't really feel the love from her towards him at all. Like
No,
she respects him and everything, I guess. Like, he did her solid by letting her into the car there. But yeah, no, the whole kissing at the end there doesn't feel as earned. We do get the song Redline Day by James Shimoji, which plays over the credits, which is a very cheesy love song.
I think it's a like a what's the term? I think it's a victim of the fact that it's just a racing movie. It's about racing and racing hard, and they don't really get outside of the flashback in that one restaurant scene.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really do any personal interaction
Mm-hmm.
to like set this up. And it's like, yeah, they love each other now, and you're like, I get how they got there, but
Yeah.
was this necessary? To me, it was a bit no.
No, yeah. I feel like if they had one more scene of them, like, I don't know, like talking about the future or something, it would have felt a bit more earned. I just felt like it wasn't earned. Like, uh, them winning the race is awesome. Like, it's, I'm glad that, like, I am truly glad that we didn't really get to see, like, the downfall of, like, the present where we're like, oh, get you next time, red line. Like, I'm glad that we just kind of just don't really deal with the political fallout of this or anything. We just get, the movie just ends. We don't have to worry about, I don't know, what does it all mean for the sake of the galaxy? The galaxy isn't safe per se, because who knows what all the other powers and factions are up to. But yeah, ending with a kiss, though, yeah, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, especially when you end the movie with having the word love literally across the screen. It's like, that's not what the movie was about.
No, I think I would have loved, instead of having the love scene, is like have them like in a car together for like Redline next year or something. Would have, for me, would have like been more satisfying on an
Yeah.
emotional level. It's like if it was just like 1 year later, it was like Redline back again for round 2 at Machine World, and they're lined up in like a duo car together.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been like way more like, oh fuck yeah, this is them like showing that they've decided to work together. And it was like,
Yeah.
for me, would have
Or like if
preferred
they
that.
just like even had a scene of them just like driving a car with like his arm around her or something. Like,
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if that's just like a cultural mismatch between my expectations and
it
Japanese. I don't know.
could be, yeah. I've seen a few movies that end exactly the same way, like Japanese movies, like, and which is like, all right, well, now they kiss, movie's over, they fall in love, movie's over. It's like very like screwball comedy from like the 30s and 40s, but it is what it is. But doesn't sour the movie entirely because this movie was fucking awesome.
Oh, like the plot for this movie does not matter that much.
No.
What matters is how fucking awesome it is. Like there's no massive like overarching high stakes plot or anything aside from this guy's gonna race real hard and fast, which is cool. And I love it. It's one of those movies that I have rewatched a bunch because it's just something cool you can put on and go, yeah, this is sick. And then it's done 90 minutes later, and you go on with your day going, fuck, that movie ruled. I really enjoyed watching it.
Yeah. And yeah, like it's what I really like too is like the world building, all the designs for the movie are really cool too. So it's not just like the plot doesn't matter, but the world feels very lived in. You feel like this is a place that there's some thought about how things work. We're not going to give you all the details, so you can use your imagination to fill in the gaps, which I think is a very smart thing to do, to not treat the audience like total idiots.
Yeah, again, like we touched on at the start, it's the Surf Dracula problem. They thankfully avoid giving us 8 episodes of Surf Dracula.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Redline came out at the La Carna Film Festival in 2009. It was supposed to play at a lot more film festivals. It got delayed, so I'm not sure if it actually was a finished product that played at that film festival or not. All the dates say it premiered in 2009. It premiered in Japan a full year later in 2010. As you said, it was a box office bomb. Only made 100 million yen. Yeah, and because it cost so much money for Madhouse, like Madhouse was almost, they weren't doing well before Redline, and they put a lot of money into this movie to think it was going to be a big hit, and it was not. So Madhouse was really close to bankruptcy, and this definitely did not help. But they're fully bought out by or mostly bought out by Nippon TV in 2011. So Madhouse still exists. They're still making things people really like. They've I think they made Attack on Titan. And blanking on what others from the big animes that they still work on are. But yeah, so the animation studio still exists. I'm not sure if the director of Redline is going to do anything else. I should have looked that up beforehand.
They actually make currently the biggest anime that they would be putting out at the moment would be Frieren.
Okay, I've heard of that one. Yeah,
which is probably has a problem where like half its fans are like weird little anime fascists now.
Oh yeah.
It's like one problem I constantly see. Like the worst fans are like using it as a thing to be like, yeah, no, we need Nazism. But like that's probably their most popular thing at the moment that they're making.
Yeah, that's good. It's still going because I everything I've seen by the studio, I've really liked how it looks. Even things like Ninja Scroll, which have like which are questionable in many ways, but they look gorgeous.
Yeah,
so
I love it when a studio does take a bit of a risk, and I'm glad they did, even though obviously it didn't pay off for them. It's one of those things where the world's a better place for it existing.
Yeah, and like so again, it didn't do well at the box office, but on home video it did pretty well. No actual numbers on how home video release worked, but on how much it made in home video, but it's gotten a lot of people talking about on like social media a lot. So a lot of people come around this movie. It's considered a cult classic because all the fans came around to it like long after the initial run there. So people have really been promoting this movie a lot. I see a lot of list for recommended animes that like, Studio Ghibli, they're fantastic, but those movies are just obvious recommendations to people who are want to get into anime. But for people who want to like flesh out to things that are not Miyazaki, it's a fantastic one to go through because it's not for it's not for like little kids. It feels adult, it feels mature. It's so much fun. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yes, this movie easily falls into you have a friend who says they hate anime. If they hate this, then I feel like they just hate film.
Yeah, 100%.
More than anything.
Because even if you don't like, the story, you want something deep with the story, you gotta admit the animation is so fucking cool.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like it's not just like I get someone saying I hate anime and not wanting to watch Naruto. This is a movie that I think stands well as a movie. And it's like it has to be anime by its premise, because I think this movie would be worse if it was like a CG or a live action type thing.
It would be terrible if it was CG, yeah.
It'd be terrible if it was CG. It'd be terrible if it was live action, especially the way Hollywood's currently doing it. But it's one of those, if you have a friend who is like, oh, I hate anime, and they hate this, then you need to have a deeper conversation about what they like and dislike.
I was looking up Koike, what he's doing since Redline. He's directed 4 Lupin the Third feature films, as well as 1 Lupin the Third ONA.
I love Lupin the Third, so I'm glad that he's doing well. Lupin the Third is a very delightful kind of movie where it's series actually, and it's also one of those things where it's like you could do live action Lupin the Third. I don't think you ever should.
Yeah, like I've seen maybe 3 of the movies and I've enjoyed each one of them. I've seen Miyazaki's one for sure. I saw one came like 2021, maybe one that came out like to the 2000s, I think. But yeah, those are a really fun premise for a movie.
Gentlemen, I loved, Lupin also occupies that kind of space with me where it's like, this is something you should just enjoy watching, even if you aren't an anime guy. It's not one of those 12 episodes and that's it type series. Is what it is.
Yeah, it's like Japan's Batman. Like
yeah, which is fascinating. So, for this movie, to bring us back to Redline, I do want to talk about the soundtrack again. The soundtrack is immaculate. in my opinion. So
Mhm.
every character has a theme song to the down to the point where the guy doing the TV commentary has like a 30-second like theme song that plays when he's on screen. It's so good. Like every character has a distinct, like you get Machine Head's introduction, and you get this like choir of soul singers going Machine Head as he comes in. It's like that's it. He's so and all you get out of that is, oh fuck, Machine Head's so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, it must be a banger of a soundtrack to like just drive around your car and listen to this. Like that must be the coolest experience.
It's mostly like when summer's great. I've been sick for the last couple of weeks, so I'm sweating like a pig. But it means I'm heading off to the beach next week, so I'm gonna be going up to my family. My grandparents bought a beach house back when houses cost like a potato and like 3 coins. So we're quite lucky that we still get to use that. So I'm looking forward to doing some swimming finally.
Nice.
And yes, when I drive up there through the backcountry roads, I have a playlist called Driving Songs, and like half the soundtrack of Redline's on there. So I'll be listening to it soon.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts about Redline?
Watch it, please. If I'm assuming every listener here has watched it, but go back and watch it again.
Yeah, there's so many little details you can pick up on rewatch. Like I had a blast watch it. I watched the movie through twice, and I picked up a lot more things the second time through. Just small little character things, just like details in the cars and everything. It was great. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Anything you want to plug?
Look, I'm got my YouTube channel where I do videos about things online. I recently did a video about Jeffrey Epstein's book purchases. Which shouldn't it's one of those things where you go through the list and go, oh yeah, that checks out. I don't know what I expected out of the least subtle pedophile alive. And then I also do a couple episodes a month on the Kill the Computer premium feed, so you can find me there behind the pain wall, as we call it, which is the wall you have to pass to experience pain. So there's a couple episodes there that I do exclusively behind the paywall. So but there's not just me you get out of that paywall. So there's like me plus like 3 more premium episodes on that a month. So that's actually a shit ton of value in that Patreon, to be honest, these days. So that's where you can find me these days. And I'm on Blue Sky and Twitter, all my usual places where I just post bizarre stuff that I find online, and everyone goes, MLYP, why did you post that? And that's pretty much the experience of following me.
You are a really fun follow. Yeah, I'll post all those in the show notes in the show description. You can follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at bwishart. You can also follow MoviePod on Twitter, Blue Sky, and YouTube. Next week episode is I'm going to be covering all December. I'm going to be doing Christmas adjacent films. So some of them we exclusively book Christmas. Some of them are very loosely book Christmas. This one somewhat takes place at Christmas. I'm doing Rocky 4. Have you seen Rocky 4?
I have not seen Rocky 4, but I appreciate that you're not doing we got to watch Die Hard, because Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
But you might be doing Die Hard. I don't know what the rest of your plan is.
The plan is not Die Hard, but I'm doing something along the lines of Die Hard if everything goes to plan. But
movies
Die Hard's
that happen on Christmas.
But, yeah, I can do Die Hard eventually, but I'm going to wait a little bit because it's too obvious to do at Christmas time.
Excellent. Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, thank you for listening.